Dr. Sella here, and I'm going to show you why zone dive and midline triple option became such big concepts in 2020, why they were utilized so much. Look, here's what Paul Johnson always did. He did everything off the triple. So he would run triple option. I'm drawing it up against a 50 defense because that's the majority of what Army, Navy, and Air Force see. They see 50 defenses with some variation of eagling down, 4 eyes, 3s, regardless, whether it's bear or eagle, generally they're seeing some variation of a 50 defense. So Paul would run triple and go from there. And this is how you run triple. The switch block on the perimeter, tackle outs and releases. He has the mic to the free safety. Guard has the mic to the free safety. The center and the backside guard have the A gaps. Backside tackle's got the B gap. Backside receiver cuts off, and then it's a 3-on-2 against 1 and 2. So what Paul would always do is he would wait for number 1 to take the B back, and then he would have the tackle block number 1, and he would hand the ball off on the zone dive. Because what happens is, if this guy's trying to go in, this guy's trying to go out to take the quarterbacker to pitch. So Paul, back in the 80s, started running zone dive as a way to counteract the scrape exchange. See, this is very basic stuff. This is even to the point where Pop Warner guys can handle this. And that was the only difference. The A-back would basically zone out of number 2 so he couldn't fold back inside, and off you'd go. Now, that's the way it was always done. And then eventually the guys in Army figured out, well, you know what? We can't have the tackle block number 1 even though he's a moving target because we're losing the battle. So here's the thing. We don't want to get pigeonholed into number 1 always coming up the field and taking the quarterback, and we hand the ball off, and we can't get movement on that guy or that guy, and we get stuffed every play. They got sick of it. So what they did was they said, well, we'll just wedge the action key, the nose guard, so we'll guarantee that we'll get movement on him and we'll hand the ball off. And then what we'll do is we'll make the defense have to put number 1 on the B back. So when they ran the zone dive, they started a few years ago wedging the action key, veering the tackle inside, having the A-back stay on the tackle's play side hip and clear the levels as these two would block the mic to the safety. Then they would bring a third guy into the surface so that if there were 2 backers, he could get the second backer. Or if this safety sky forced, he would run into him and basically cancel him. So this was brilliant on the part of Brent Davis, Monk, and the boys, because this is how not only could they get movement on the action key, but now you still don't have to block number 1 and number 2. So if he plays the quarterback, who cares? You don't have to block him anyway. He's going to cancel himself. So you don't have to, so there's no read, and you don't have to block the same 2 people you always did on triple option. It's brilliant. They started doing it a few years ago. Now, the zone dive sets up the triple, because as soon as this guy starts canceling number 1, or as soon as number 1 starts canceling the B back, he runs into the A back, who's staying on the tackle's hip, and now you start running the triple option. So now you know that number 1's going to take the B back. So you read him and make him wrong and go from there, and then you fast break number 2 with the quarterback and the backside A back. It's brilliant. This is why zone dive took over, because you guarantee movement on him, and you don't have to block those 2 guys. And then as soon as he starts taking the B back, then you start running triple. It's brilliant. I know I've said that like 5 times, but it really is. For those of you running this offense long enough, you can see the brilliance. Now, where midline triple comes into play, they figured out, well, 2 things happen when we run midline triple instead of inside veer against a 50 defense. And what that is number 1, but when the quarterback jumps backwards, it gives us more time to read number 1 and number 2. And the second thing it does is now we can use the element of misdirection, because this guy's going to hammer step, take 2 diagonal steps like it's triple left, and then he's going to turn his belly button to the line of scrimmage, take 3 steps, and he's going to block the run support. So what that's been able to do is it gives the quarterback more time to read on triple option. That's why they're doing it so much. The third thing it does is they believe it helps on the zero technique as well. But here's the thing about it. In college, you get a lot more pull reads. You gotta remember this, guys. You don't run triple now for the sake of running triple. You run it when number one starts taking the B back. Because you don't want to hand the ball off on triple. Because if he's coming up the field, why don't you just run zone dive and then you don't have to read anybody? It's a better play. And that's what they figured out at Army. And really what they figured out at Air Force. Because Air Force does this as well as anybody. But that's mid-triple. Like I said, the reasons they started running more of that against 50 defenses is it gave the quarterback more time to handle the blood stunt. One takes the B back, two takes the quarterback. And in addition to that, you got the element of misdirection, which I know y'all love. So anyway, that's the explanation. God bless.